She's still laughing.
That's so funny. Welcome to 5 Lemons Left. We're the real stuff, the lemons making lemonade. So pucker up, because we're going to be discussing our life's lessons and the nitty-gritty details of our spiritual journeys.
Hey y'all, I'm Amanda.
And I'm Drusilla.
I'm Melissa.
Hello, this is Morgan.
And I'm Penny. Welcome to our podcast today. Oh, man.
I love starting off with laughing.
I mean,
that really changes everything.
Mm-hmm.
Last episode, we talked about our intentions and words of the year for 2024. And Drusilla really brought up the concept of self-love. Mm-hmm. So today we are going to spend the whole time talking about self-love, what it is, what it isn't, how we practice it, how it affects those around us, and how we're moving it forward into next year. So let's get started. What is self-love? Who wants to answer that question first?
Oof.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I will start since I said it last time.
It's very intimate to you.
You probably know what it is. Right?
Yeah.
Not sure if I fully know, but for me, it means honoring myself.
Oh.
First and foremost. I can't honor anyone else and serve anyone else or anything else if I'm not serving myself. First and foremost. So that's what I meant when I said it. And that I feel like I moved away from that and serving, a project, serving the holidays, serving everything and everybody else except for myself. So I'll just start with that, honoring myself.
That's perfect.
I think we're done.
Yeah. All right, then, check, baby.
Yeah.
And then the next question is, okay, so how do you honor yourself day in and day out? I think that's the question, right?
That's the question.
Yeah, that sounds like a good question.
Well, I think we're full of wisdom here, and I would love to hear what Morgan has to say for me in terms of how I can better honor myself.
Well, when you were sharing your kind of definition of self-love, it made me think of let your yes be yes and your no be no. And like as a recovering people pleaser, that was a big turning point in me for like really incorporating a self-love practice, was to really start that practice of feeling into what would I like to do in this moment? And is this something I would really like to be doing if I had a choice? There are times in life when it appears that we don't have a choice. Got to go punch the clock, got to go drop the kids to school or whatever the case may be. But when choice is present, which in truth, it's always present. But just really starting to tune into what I would like in each moment instead of the pressure from the outside world of what I feel like I should be doing. Whether that is coming from someone or whether it's just coming from the society's expectations of how I should be spending my time. I can get tangled up in that very easily. I should be working X number of hours a day on my business. I should be keeping the house super tidy and clean all of the time, all of the should. So learning to block that out and tune in with myself and also with spirit and to see how I'm being guided. So I don't know if that helps, is helpful in your situation, Drusilla, but that's what was coming through for me. I feel like it would be applicable to anyone.
Definitely. I have felt that people pleasing coming up for me a lot lately. And and it's not very typical of me. And I can tell you one situation, and it's just happened in different pockets for me. But one of the editors that I worked with on my first film sent me a proposal for this film, and to do the post production, the editing, and oversee the audio, the sound, and everything. And so, of course, when he sent me the first proposal, it was maybe 4 months ago or something. And so received it, we had a little chat about it and was done. And then when it was time to engage and to start the post-production, he sends me a different one, and it's about 20% more than the other one. And so I just questioned him about it. And he said, well, yeah, I sent you that proposal, but it wasn't like we signed a contract or anything. And for the life of me, I cannot figure out why it should be so difficult of a decision for me to just let him ride. Because I'm saying to myself, there was already a little bit of conflict in using him because he can be a lot of arrogant. I will say that, not just a little, but a lot. And I can deal with him just because it's one-on-one and I just know how he is. But when it's a team of people, it can be very destructive to the team, right? And so there was already that. And then for someone that I've already worked with to come back and say, well, just because we didn't sign a piece of paper, that should be easy, right? But I found myself still wavering on working with him or not. And I've had multiple situations like that over the past few weeks. And I'm like, what is going on with me? And I really feel that it's, not honoring myself and because I'm not honoring myself, then I don't have the confidence and clarity in decision making.
Yeah. At least that's a situation where hopefully you didn't have to make a decision right there on the spot and you had some days or weeks to let the dust settle and get recentered with your heart and connected and feel into the most loving choice. It's definitely an advantage when we have the benefit of time.
Yes.
It is. And Drusilla, so since we're talking about self-love, so what's the most self-loving thing that you can do in this situation? Or how are you going to self-love yourself to get that clarity and confidence back? I don't know which one is the most applicable.
On a practical standpoint, that's getting myself back grounded again, which means more meditation. And actually reading the course is something that helps me a lot as well. I recall the podcast where Angela was on, and she talked a lot about the course being a beacon of hope for her. I found it, I find it the same. I can just open it up and go, and it just releases so much for me. So I will certainly do that. And maybe I'll join Morgan's group of reading the course. I think that I love it. It's just so stimulating for me. So those are a couple of things that come to mind. First is calming those thoughts that are just all over the place for me right now.
Yeah.
That sounds very self-loving.
Yes.
That's to me too.
Yeah. I'm so excited to be reading the course again this year too. And it takes me back to last episode when we were talking about our words for the year. And I was reflecting on discipline as my word from last year. Not having a daily reading practice really causes me to feel very ungrounded and uncentered, unanchored in my spirituality. And and I didn't have that last year. So I think that was one of the reasons that I was feeling like I wasn't as disciplined as I would like to be. It was my choice not to do the course because I had just wrapped it up the year before. I had done the textbook lessons and I was like, okay, I'm going to do something different this year. Well, nothing else ever really presented itself. And so I didn't have that discipline of a morning reading quiet time. And so I am already 2 days in and I'm just like, feeling ignited by it. So just to piggyback on what you were saying. And I wanted to go back to something that I was sharing about feeling into like my yes and my no and what I would really like to be doing in each moment. Another, like taking that a step further for me to be self-loving is to sometimes like check in with spirit to see what I should be doing. And it doesn't always line up with what my body is telling me. Cause I can sometimes have social anxiety and like just want to be a homebody all the time. But my human design type, like I need both. I need a lot of alone time and I need a lot of community time. But I can kind of have a default no to like social things that are outside of the house. And even if sometimes spirit might be guiding me. So it's getting real clear about not only my yeses and my nos and my preferences, but my whys. Is it coming from fear or is love asking me to step out of my comfort zone and do this thing? So that would be another like extra credit layer to like practicing self-love for me. Just wanted to
That's good.
throw that wrench in there.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, self-love for me, my last year's word of the year was no.
I love that.
2023 no was my word of the year. And that was the most self-loving thing that I could have done. So, and it's not like it was present a lot, although I think it was just because it's funny and I like to laugh, right? And I felt myself like not doing anything I didn't want to do, not taking on. I love the way you said that, Morgan, people pleasing, a recovering people pleaser. I'm certainly that as well. And just no, thank you. Getting really good at no, and not like putting someone down, like, no, I don't like you. But just no, because it's this most self-loving thing to do. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So this year, like I said, discipline is my word of the year. Discipline and love and light is what we decided on as we got out last time. So I think there'll be more yeses, and it will be self-loving because I still have that no, default as well. Like it's my choice. Like, does this fill my cup? Is this choice or whatever I'm being invited to do? Is it self-loving? Is it to serve love and light? And is it to improve myself or my relationship? Or is it for fun? And if it's none of those things, if it doesn't support my life goals, then it's a no. I've heard more than one teacher talk about that. It's like, once you decide the trajectory, that's easy to say, of life, or at least a path, like, there's self-love and discipline and all the things that we talked about. If whatever is coming up doesn't serve that, then why do it? And that's really self-loving.
That makes me think of the When Harry Met Sally quote, when Billy Crystal says something like, whenever you decide, I don't even remember the quote, but you want the rest of your life to start right now.
Morgan, you're going to have to look up that quote because now I'm ready.
Yeah, I want to know it too.
Okay, Penny's looking it up. Penny's a great.
No, I'm not. I'm trying to get my power plugged in. My computer's about to die. I can't get it to plug in.
So, Melissa, what's self-love look like for you?
Well, I think it has a little to do with everything everyone has said, not doing what I don't want to, not doing what makes me tired and put out and all that kind of stuff. But for me, it has been getting really quiet with myself and being in silence and stillness, just to know myself more. And so when I know myself more and I'm more in tune with the love that I want to receive and give, then other things that I know what to do in my life. I don't have a lot of, I don't give my power away and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I do. It's always a practice. I'm always working on it. But definitely having stillness. I have better self-care in everything I do. I think that's it for me.
So what would the opposite of self-love look like for you, Melissa?
Oh, I love that. I have lots of examples of that.
Let's just do one.
Buckle up. Oh, well, definitely pushing myself. People pleasing, pushing, aiming for perfection. I hope Penny shows the list from Brene Brown, because one of those is just needing to be perfect, needing to be right, needing to have the answers. And when I do that, I get tired and sick and I stay in bed because I exhaust myself. And that is not loving. And so pushing, striving, planning, manipulating, controlling, all that stuff. It's just not loving myself. It's reaching out there, trying to get something, some kind of satisfaction, some kind of a reflection of myself out there. And it's just exhausting. And hollow.
That self-seeking and validation that you're looking for outside of you. Yeah.
I love that, Melissa.
I'm resisting the temptation to sing "Looking for Love." I guess I didn't resist it too hard.
No, you didn't.
Oh, love it.
Yep.
I think Penny wishes our podcast was a musical.
Yeah.
It could still be.
It could still be.
I think it is, actually.
Should we throw up that list, Penny?
Oh, we sure can. Yeah, we sure can.
I think it really sums things up. I didn't want to jump in front of other people talking, but
Penny's the only one who hasn't shared yet.
Penny didn't talk yet. So Penny can talk about the list.
I did not talk yet.
For those who are listening instead of watching us on YouTube, Penny is bringing forward, what is it, the top 10 list of self-loving things?
It's Brene Brown's top 10 rules for self-love. And when we were after our last podcast, we talked about, well, we're all talking about self-love in 2024. And so, of course, I love to Google things. So I said, let's see what self-love and self-care is all about. And this was one of the things that came up. So on her list is number 1, you are enough. OMG.
Yes.
That's like, I'm telling you, I have been struggling with that most of my life, proving that I am enough. And so, for self-love, I can just say to myself, I am enough. I am enough. And another thing that that's been self-loving and caring for me in the last year is just to say, there's nothing wrong here. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing bad going on, really, truly. It's all good. And there's something here for me to learn. And if I can look at the gift and everything, then that's a better way to be in self-love.
Number 2 on our list is share your whole story and your whole heart.
I'm not sure what she means by that. Like, because when I read that, I'm like, oh, that's oversharing. Some people don't want to know the whole story. That's a little ambiguous. Does anybody have any ideas?
I think it refers back to number 1. You will share of yourself because you know you're enough, and you're not gonna, you share your inners.
Yeah.
I think it ties into number 4 and number 10 too. And vulnerability is the birthplace of love and practicing authenticity.
Yeah.
And I think last episode, Melissa said, sharing from a place of your cup being full versus your cup being empty. If we share from our whole heart and not just, our broken heart or our fractured heart, then I think the story is going to be more empowering also.
Mm-hmm. More real.
Authentic. Yeah. Number 3 is engage with the world. How does that one sound to you all?
It's what Morgan
reminds me of what Morgan was saying.
Yeah. And then 4 was vulnerability is the birthplace of love. 5, get vulnerable. We all know Brene Brown is all about being vulnerable. And I don't know about you guys, but when somebody gets vulnerable around me, I do have more respect for them. I really do, because they are being more authentically who they are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no manipulation occurring, and it's an invitation that we can just be real with one another.
And don't you connect better with them?
Yes.
Yeah. And that's number 6, let go of your armor. So we're putting down our blocks or our walls, we're breaking them down, letting go of our armor. And so then we're able to be more real. This is all about being really real.
Yeah.
Oh, I love number 7. Speak to yourself the way you speak to someone you love.
Aww.
Isn't that so beautiful?
Love.
Yeah. Yeah. Or a little child.
Yes.
Yeah.
You guys, I gotta hit the pause button, because get vulnerable and let go of your armor. I'm on this spiritual path and I'm so steeped in love, and also my armor is coming up because there's safety. There's, you have to feel safe to be vulnerable and let go of your armor. I just want to point that out, because to me, knowing your circumstances, who you're talking to, what's going on, really reading the environment and the people that you're interacting with is self-loving. Yeah.
So am I hearing you say that you would be wise to choose when you're vulnerable or not? Is that what you're saying?
That's the great question, and it's really making me think. It would be more loving for me to be vulnerable, yes, and also to protect myself a little bit more. There's just the word safety keeps coming back into my mind, right? So if not you guys, and clearly I'm sharing with whoever wants to listen. So, and would I tell a secret or something private to someone that I would know that would share it in a way that I didn't want to share it, would gossip about it? That wouldn't be self-loving to me. So maybe I'm not ready for the full 100% vulnerability and all, because these safety things keep popping up as we were talking about the list. And that, creating unsafety is the opposite of self-love for me. Self-love is keeping myself feeling safe and whole.
Well, there is something to be said about safety. Absolutely. And I think it's important for all of us to do whatever it takes for us to have that safe feeling when we're in situations. And maybe it is not to share, maybe it is to share, but just a little bit, you know, scratch the surface a little bit, test it out, see how it goes, you know. And if we are knowing that we are enough, then it's not really going to matter what other people think about what we've just shared too. Yeah. So, I mean, so that it's all wrapped up. Go ahead, Drusilla. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, if you keep peeling back the layers, it still comes back to self-worth and valuing that you are enough regardless. And your defenselessness is where safety is. It's not
Which is my favorite lesson. Yeah. 55, I think.
So and I'm sure we all have those places where it feels safer to not be vulnerable. But that's not necessarily reflecting self-love, I guess would be the way to say that.
And I think self-love would be practicing with the people you trust first, and the people that give you safety, and in the situations where you find safety, and then really work with that for a while, and then you move into other areas. But I think, you know, I'll say my focus on safety has kept me safe my whole life. So, you know, it's what has gotten me through a lot of situations. There's nothing wrong with it, but I have had to learn how to put my armor down to be vulnerable with people that I love first. And then I moved into just saying my truth and not worrying that I know they can't hurt me.
Right. Yes. There is nothing to fear.
Right.
Well, and what's really cool is we all met in Masterful Living from Jennifer Hadley's Power of Love Ministry. And we were part of a mastery circle where we got to practice being vulnerable with each other, sharing things that we may not ever share with anybody else in the whole wide world. But we knew we were safe in this community that we created in our mastery circle. And so we've been really fortunate. And so I can see, Amanda, where you're coming from, where just going to the party down the street for New Year's might not have been a place for you to share about X, Y, and Z, and that's okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. And just keep practicing, like Melissa said, and soon you'll who cares what anybody knows.
And you don't go to the hardware store for milk. Okay. So you get to choose who you get to tell things to. It's not like once you let down your armor, you go to the grocery store and stop people in the aisle and say, I'm healing from what, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
So it made me think you wouldn't go up to a homeless man and announce that you were carrying around $1,000 worth of cash.
Yeah. So you do.
I'm loaded. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for going down this little side journey, because that's the most self-loving thing for me. In essence, I was expressing my vulnerability by actually speaking that this is a thank you for the round of applause. One of my favorite things, for speaking my boundaries. So that is self-loving to me. And for those who are listening that are on the different stages of their spiritual path, red flags could be flying up all around. So thank you for this little side trip. And I don't know if we finished the list. Yeah, thank you.
We just got a couple more to go. Yeah. Number 8, let go of perfectionism. Boy, that's Melissa's raising her hand. Yeah, she's working on that. I'm working on that. Jesus, yeah. Number 9, be grateful. I think that starting a gratitude journal, letting your family know what you're grateful for about them on a daily basis. I think that all is self-loving things to do. And then number 10 is practice authenticity. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know about you guys, but I can tell a mile away when somebody's being inauthentic. And I can tell a mile away when somebody is being authentic. And I love it when I can be around authentic people. It's so nice.
And that is practicing, not
Mhm.
blurting it all out to everybody.
Mhm.
Practice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And like attracts like. So
Yeah.
if you are an authentic person, then you're more likely to encounter more authentic people
Yes.
in your experience.
And you
That's
guys,
true.
we're about at the end of this episode, and I would really like to touch on what being self-loving, what loving yourself more, how that affects the people around you.
Mm. Well, I can tell you that when I am not practicing self-love, and this happens when I start rushing around thinking, oh my God, I'm late for something, or I've got to hurry up and get something done, or I gotta cook my food. I gotta all these things that I gotta do. And I'm running around like a crazy woman. Well, it doesn't look like I'm a crazy woman, but I am moving fast. I realized and then because I'm like putting so much pressure and pushing myself so much, I am not a very nice person. And it starts first with me. I'm starting to beat myself up because I didn't give myself enough time or whatever it is. And then it just flows right out to my family. It's just amazing. I can watch myself get like spun out, and I can see them like starting to spin out right along with me. So my vibration lowers their vibration too. It's pretty amazing. So I started when I would walk into the house a few years ago, I'd start going, honey, I'm home, to whoever's at home, and it was just a really nice way to enter the house, no matter who's there. And it might be nobody, but I still do it. Honey,
And maybe
home.
your daughter's boyfriend was there alone.
Yeah, well, that's okay. He's a great guy. I can call him honey too. But anyway, it's just that was a way that I enter the space where they're at, and I'm bringing in some self-love and some love for them as well. So that's but it does impact others tremendously.
Yeah, I love that.
I know for me on as I walk down this spiritual path, the more forgiving and the loving I am to myself, the easier it is to be loving and see that it in my husband. So there's the less judgmental that I am of myself, the less judgmental that I am of my husband, and the less judgmental that I am of the people around me, the more loving and understanding and compassionate for those around me.
Absolutely. And I think that's the big fear about going down the spiritual path, because you think, oh, I'll have to get divorced, and I'll have to leave this relationship, and people in my church aren't going to love me anymore. And, but it really turns out to be exactly what you said. You're just loving more completely, more authentically, more deeply. Yeah.
Nice. Let's breathe in all that love that we can bring to ourselves. Right, yeah. Let's just bask in the love. Just breathe. So everybody, like, seriously, put your feet on the floor if you can. Just close your eyes for a second. And then let's just take a nice, beautiful, deep cleansing breath in. And have that breath be filled with love, and have it energize every single one of your cells in your body. So hold it in for a few seconds. And then on your exhale, just exhale out the love to your surroundings, to the universe, to all. Yeah, so beautiful. We can be the leaders of love and light.
Yes.
Thank you, Penny. That was amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, any last thoughts from anyone? I think we're coming to the end of our self-love episode. I do have a couple of post-its.
Yay.
Let's hear them.
Self-love is honoring myself. I loved that, Drusilla. Put some hearts on there for everyone. And then I loved what you just said, Melissa. I think it was you, or Amanda. The more loving I am to myself, I am more loving to all. And that's really just sums it all up. So let's make this the year of love, because we're going to need a lot of it this year, everyone.
Yes.
Yeah. And if you want to hear more of our loving episodes, you can find us on YouTube. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and we have a website, 5lemonslaughing.com, and it's 5 spelled out FIVE. So we just appreciate and love that you are listening to our episodes, and please share any questions or comments you have. If you'd like anything specifically for us to cover, we'd be happy to do an episode based on your feedback. So thanks everyone for joining us today, and let's go out and spread some self-love to ourselves and to others.
Yes.
Have
Bye,
a great
y'all.
week.
Bye.